Hey guys, what's up? It's Baldo back with another Escape from Tarkov video. Man, 1212 has been an amazing wipe with so many awesome introductions. VoIP, Inertia, New Ballistics, as well as Lighthouse. But as it has been from the beginning, one fact remains the same. That is that Tarkov is ruled by the cold, hard cash. That's why in this video we are going to go over my favorite loot run for this wipe on what has become my favorite map, Woods. I know the majority of people at this point in the wipe have been doing their loot runs on either Interchange or Lighthouse, hoping to get some of that high tier rogue loot or maybe get into the tech stores to find themselves some GPUs. And while that's all well and good, it is also very dangerous to run either one of those maps right now, which are both plagued with cheaters as well as just the chads who are better at the game than, well, me anyways. So that is why I choose to go into what I feel is a safer map, as well as what can be argued as just a loot rich environment. So stick around and I'm going to show you my favorite loot run on Woods. Now before we hop into this offline run and I show you the exact pathing I take, I'm going to show you the loadout I take and explain why I take each of these items in, with hopes that it will give you as much success as it's given me. Now the first thing I do is I always pick a class 3 armor. Typically I like the Zook just because it is extremely affordable and it repairs very well. And the main purpose of your armor in this is to block against the scav shots that you might come across. Hopefully, best case scenario, we avoid most of the players, we can get in and out safely. But that being said, I do still take in a good gun with good ammo. I choose the Scar over most of the other 7.62 variants because it hits like a truck just like all the other ones do, but it also has the opportunity to go full auto, and it has the range with the longer barrel to reach out a little bit further than the MDR does. Now there are plenty of other things you could take. You could take any 5.56 gun, you could take a bolt action if you wanted to. You can just pistol run this if you feel confident in your fighting abilities. But I like to take this in to give me a little bit of a hedge just in case I do run across players. I also take in an azimuth rig, and the reason I take that in is because it offers a lot of slots, a lot of 2 slots. So essentially I am maximizing the carrying space that I have to take loot out of while also providing a function. Now I've had people that I play with ask me why I don't take in an armored rig like Attack Tech or something comparable to that. That is because if I come across, say, a slick and a stash, I can just throw out my armor and not have to worry about wasting the space that the rig also offers me. And I also take in nothing smaller than a switchblade backpack. Now typically when I run it solo, I'll actually take in an Attack 2, but usually I'm running with 2 or 3 people, so a switchblade gives me more than enough space to take in my share of the loot. So now that we understand the loadout, let's hop into this offline raid and I will take you the exact pathing that I take. Alright, here we are in Woods. Let's find out where we spawned. Okay, it seems that we spawned over by the med fob. Make sure that's accurate here. Yes, it is. Okay. So from here, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to run towards the village. Now, from where we spawn, there are a couple of stashes that we are going to hit along the way. Now, we are not going to hit every single spot that has loot here, because with just one of us running it, we won't be able to. We're going to hit the high dollar ones. So we're going to hit some stashes that are on the way, as well as some gold spawns and a few tech spawns as well. Okay, the first stash that we're going to hit is going to be right here, right on top of the pit with the tank on it. That is between the med fob and, say, ZB16. Nothing in that, unfortunately. So then we're going to go down here, and right in this pit there is another stash. I'm not actually going to look in all these stashes. I'm going to point out where they're at, and it's right here. It's a barrel stash. So now we are going to book it directly to the northern UN roadblock because there's another stash there, and then there are also 2 buildings to hit with some tech loot in it. Now the problem with running a kit like this is unless you just have a constant supply of SJ6s, it doesn't take long for you to run out of stamina. Now this rock right here has another stash on the other side of it. We will hit that along the way. Gonna be right around this corner here. What am I stuck on? Right there's another barrel stash. I'm going to speed this up after we hit the stash in between loot spots. The next stash is actually down here in this corner on the other side of the sea can. There's also a weapons crate there. Hit that if you want. Here's the other stash. So now we're going to hit these two buildings up there. I'm going to speed it up until we get there. Okay, now we run into the smaller of the two shacks. There's a tech spawn up here. You have a weapons crate. Obviously, you're going to have your tech spawns in here and a toolkit here. Now in those tech spawns, you can find GPUs there. Next, we're going to run over to the larger of the two cabins. And there's quite a bit to loot in here, but most of it is just like mechanical stuff. You know, here's a mechanics crate, technical supply crate, I guess you can call it. Spark plugs and wrenches, stuff like that. You can find the similar stuff on here. There's weapon crates up here, as well as some loose loot on the table. And there's this crate over here, and over there is the same. There's weapon attachments on that table and another weapons crate. From here, we're going to run to the village, so I will speed up until we get there. Okay, so here we are on the ridgeline overlooking the village. Now, instead of running directly into the village, what we're going to do is we're going to stay outside here. Now, there is loot on the other side of the village, like by the hog farm, the building that is across from it. But we're not even going to go to that side because there's a lot of risk involved in looting the entire village. We're going to hit two key spots on this side of the road. First thing we're going to do is we're going to run down here, and there is a little pond with a diving board. We call that diving board the giving board, reminiscent of the giving tree and customs, because it can spawn some very good loot under it. You can find things like bitcoins, lions, gold chains, pretty much any gold spawn under there, as well as some stems. In this case, we got milk. And look under here, and there's 2 or 3 spawns that can be there. I've found 2 bitcoins in one raid before. Then we're going to go into the backyard here. You want to check these tables and brick piles. Even in here in the bathtub, you can find different things like metal parts and stuff like that. But the main spot for hitting over here is in the house, in this back room, on the floor, as well as in the box. Like, we have a printed circuit board, caps, but you can find GPUs there. And with there being 2 spawns, that means you have twice the chance to find them. So we're not even going to hit up the other side at all, just avoiding the risk as much as we can. Now, if you feel like it, down here there are 2 changing huts. In this one here, which I want to say is the right one. Oh, it's this one. This is the right one. There is a weapons crate, and you can find some loose ammo spawns on the ground. Now we're going to run across the bridge here onto the other side of car extract. Another thing to keep in mind is if you spawn on the other side of the map and work your way this way instead of running this direction, you can always just hop out here and take the bridge extract. Or if you found that GP, you can just run over here and take that. Now, we're going to run towards Sunken Village. I want you to run down here. There's a set of bushes. I don't remember if it's this one or the one next to it. I think it might be this one here. That has a stash in it. Yep, it's right here. There's another stash right there, as you can see in relation to the car extract. Now we are going to speed up until we get to the next stash, which is right above the Sunken Village. All right, now right on top of this ridge line is the next stash we are going to hit. And just make sure you take this to the right angle. It can be kind of tricky getting up this embankment, but not super difficult. Here. All right, before you hit the ridge line going down, there is a string of bushes right here. There's a stash right there. Now there is a lot to loot right here in the Sunken Village, so you can either risk it and spend some time in here and loot everything, because you can come out with quite a bit of stuff, or you can prioritize if you want to take the north side of the lake or the south side. If you take the north side, there are 3 different buildings over there with gold spawns in them, including the boathouse. If you take the south side, there is a set of 3 stashes on that side. But since we're doing the loot run, I will show you all of it to show you where you can go and how you want to prioritize it. Now, if you come in here with the tent house, in the corner here, and in the corner here of this tent, there are gold spawns. So you can get things like cats and gold chains, etc. Now, if you decide to go to the south side, you can check this building out here. In the bushes here, you have a chance for gold spawns. I find horses here quite a bit, but there's also a stash back here. And then if you come back here, this is what we call the tent stash. I don't really know why we call it the tent stash. It's not really by the tents, it's up here in the rocks, but it's what we call it. Up here in this alcove, there is another stash. And that is pretty much it for this side of the lake. So if you're in a hurry or if you're in a group, you can loot that side and stick to the tree line and make our way to our next destination. But we're going to continue looting here. Now we're going to go into the church. One cool thing about the church that people miss a lot is this boat. See here we have a horse statue. We can also find Bitcoins and GP coins and stuff like that underneath this bench, and people miss them a lot. So even if you know you're not the first one here, always check under the bench as much as you can, because there is a chance that somebody missed it. Next, we're going to go into the church itself. Now up here in the steeple, or clock tower, whatever you want to call this, on the floor here, around here, like where that chainlet is, you can also find things like Bitcoins and clocks and golden roosters. Pretty much any gold spawn you can find up there, and there's 3 different spawns up there, so you have a possibility it's 3 different things. Now we're going to continue to the north side of the lake here. Whenever I loot here, I always go and check the mark circle, which is right here on the side of the fence here. And it's hardly ever anything in the circle itself. You want to check in the grass on the outskirts of it. Again, gold spawns. You'll have things like rollers and end lions and stuff like that over there. Then I go ahead and hop up here. Maybe. Make my way into this house right next to us. And you want to check in between these bushes. In the corner here. And in the corner here. Another gold spawn. And we'll run down here to this next house. Now, if you ever need food, you always want to check that table. There's nearly always some kind of food stuff there, whether it's food or drink or both. You want to run into here. The first door, there's nothing in it. Second door, nothing around here, but if you go in here, you can find a gold spawn in that corner. You can find a gold spawn in this box, and make sure you hover through here, because sometimes the smaller ones like GP coins and Bitcoins will fall through the wood, so you're just going to look for that perception dot. And then you'll find ammo, yep, and the like on top of these crates. And that is it for the Sunken Village, unless you want to hit up the boathouse, which we won't run over there, but in the boat itself you can find gold spawns in there, and there's a toolkit in there if you guys need that. So we're going to speed it up until we get to these double sea can trailers up here. Okay, there's a few key spots we're going to hit in the sea cans up here. One thing to be careful of is this is a scav hot zone. You will find 3 or 4, sometimes 5 scavs just in this little complex here, and you'll find even more over there at the radio tower, which is going to be our next spot. So whenever you come up here, just be careful, be mindful. You will get into some gunfights up here, probably just with scavs, but every once in a while with players too. So we're going to check in here. There's a grenade case, and there is also a gold spawn on this bed. So you have your grenade case, your weapons case. If we look back here in this box and on the ground over here, you can find things like fuel conditioner and fuel. There's another weapons crate there. There's a food spawn here and here. It's either this table or the table up top. There is a moonshine spawn. I can't really remember which one. It's been a while since I found it, so I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. But also up here on this little beanbag or food sack or whatever this is, there is a gold spawn, so you can find your gold chains and stuff there as well. There's also the rations crate here, and you can also find a pack of armor in there every once in a while if you happen to need those or need an armor replacement. Next, we're going to go ahead and go over to the radio tower. Shoot your way down into the basement here. And this specific reason, or this specific spot, is one of the reasons I like to have a fully automatic gun. You can pop a flashlight on, go down here. If you happen to run across anybody, you can just spray them down and not have to worry about trying to hit fire with a single shot weapon. Now, you want to check this bag down here because I've had a buddy that has found 2 GPUs and 2 raids in a row there before. You'll have your tech spawns here, you know, your helixes, your relays, stuff like that. Same thing with down here. In this cabinet, you can get things like metal shears, sewing kits, stuff like that. Over here, both on the bed, as you can see, up here and down here, you get gold spawns. And then under the bed, you get gold spawns. I found so many bitcoins under this bed. You always want to check your jacket while you're down here, and there's food spawns as well. And then you have another bag. This is a really, really, really good spot to go if you need things like lions and rollers and stuff, because there's so many gold spawns just in that small area. Now you have a weapons crate up here. You'll have loose ammo sitting up here on that. Then you also have a, I don't remember if that's a grenade case or weapons crate. Or a grenade case or an ammo case. Either way, that's there. Next, we're gonna run over. There's 2 spots we can run from here. We can either run down to the USEC convoy, which is right there because there's a stash right on the other side of that. I typically don't go down there just because I'll have to backtrack around, but you can if that's what you choose. So for now, we're going to run this way. We're going to go onto the hill that overlooks USEC 2, which we designate USEC 1 as the first USEC camp where you have to go to complete that prepper task, and USEC 2 is the one right next to it. So this hill is the hill beyond USEC 2, and it overlooks all of them. If you run to this rock up here, there's another stash. Come on, bushes. Another stash right here. And after I hit that, I run. After I hit that, if I'm in an actual live raid, I will always hop up here onto these rocks just to get as much of an oversight into the USEC camp as we can. Because under this shroud is probably the hottest loot in either of the USEC camps, because you can find a bunch of high tier medical spawns. No lead X's, but you can get things like ophthalmoscopes, Serve 12 kits, and the like, which all adds up. So if I see that it's clear and get no inkling of anything, I will run up here. Now I won't typically be moving this fast, but I know I'm not going to be running into anybody, so I'm not going to waste time. Now, this area you want to be very thorough with, because there's a bunch of debris here that can block the loot. On the table here, as you can see, there's milk, but you can also get things, like I said, ophthalmoscopes, Serve 12s, grizzlies, things like that. But you also want to check the ground here, the ground down here, because all that stuff can still spawn there as well. Now, there's also a gold spawn right down here. I don't find things there often at all. I know they exist because I have found stuff, but it's very, very rare that I find good stuff in there. You also have this weapon crate here. I don't know how many HKs I have found there, so it's always worth a check. You have attachments here. You have an M4 spawn there, just like a stock M4. And then you have 2 different crates. Now back here on this table that you can see there, and also in the strapping of this, you can find an M5 or an MP5. Once you get this cleared out, we'll go over to the first USEC camp. Now, typically when I run here, I come, look through here, because there's a gold spawn back there. I never go in here unless I feel I need to, because there's one way in, one way out, and you can shoot through this. So you always check here. You can hit your crate from here. You can check to see if there's anything worth it on the table over here, because you can also get an MP5 there. And if you don't see anything worth having, just don't even bother going in there. You can check the doors here. There is a kitted M4, which I will find a picture of it. It's a SOP mod M4. I'll find a picture of it, put it on the screen now. that can spawn in there. And then also, if you jump up on the rock, there's an M4, or an M4 spawn up there. I will hop up there and show you where it would be though. And in these crevices here, you can find gold, you can find lions and bitcoins and stuff, and it's hard to get to. So it really sucks when there's bitcoins here because they can fall through that debris. It can be very hard to see. And like if there's a gold chain there, you can't get it. So you have to lay down and try to finagle your way to get it. And it's rough. It's hard to get to. Sometimes, honestly, it's not even worth it. But they're there. You have a weapons crate here and attachments here. Then if you feel like doing some parkour, you can hop up here and see if that kitted M4 is up here. Either way, it's a decent spot to check because there's some high tier attachments as well as some ammo spawns. And it can spawn right here or right here. That's the same kitted M4 SOP mod as the one down there that can be in that truck. From here, we're going to carry on towards our extract at either CB14 or outskirts. You can either cross the road here or stick to this side of the road. I usually cross the road and then cross back once I have a little bit more cover down there because there's a stash up here that we are going to hit. There's the stash here. And then if we carry on, which I'm going to speed up until we get there, there will be another one on this side of the road as well. This hill that we are running to right up here, there is a stash on top of it. We'll just cut back over towards the extracts. Now you have to be very careful because as you can see, there's landmines over here. So do not go too far back. But if you just hit the stash and leave, it shouldn't be a problem. Here is the stash. So we want to make sure we go back up the way we came, because if you try going down that side, you will probably hit landmines. So just go back here. Oh, look, the sun's out. Get back across the street and you'll be safe from landmines. And now we will just head towards extract. There's only a couple more places we can loot, including the extract itself. So we will see if that's open. If not, then we will just end the video. Well, in the run through, and we'll do a little more talking afterwards. Now, if CB14's open, it's always worth going down here just to check right before you get extract, or right before you go to extract. You know, you got spawns on top of here. You got that. You got spawns in there, on top of here, and on the ground. You open it, which obviously the extract's not open here, but we still want to go in and check. You've got the crate, got spots here. You can find 60 round 545 mags on the ground. You can check up there too, and then you can just hop on out. But since it's not open, we have to make our way to outskirts, which is a little bit more danger because you have the scav house right there, but it's not a big deal. But since there's no more looting, I'm just going to run towards extract, and we'll just go ahead and end this section here, and we'll do a little more talking after I get out. There we have it. We hit all of the hot spots on our woods run. And as you can see by the description, even though loot pools are not populated in an offline raid as much as they are in an online raid, you can tell by all of those gold spawns, as well as the relative obscurity of the locations themselves, they're pretty safe and extremely lucrative run. Now, as the thumbnail shows, I did average it out over 10 runs, and just playing by myself, I averaged 600,000 rubles per run. And that was even with dying one run, but I just so happened to find a Bitcoin and had that in my secure container before I died. So even with only getting out with that in that raid, I still averaged over 600,000 rubles per run. Now, before I get a bunch of comments saying, oh, you missed a stash here, you missed some spawns there. I did, but I specifically showed the spots I run, and I am sure to hit whenever I'm running this solo. Because if I were to try to hit every stash there is on woods, or look at every single spawn there is that can make you money, I would not have had enough time to make it to extract. So I hit my main spots that I'm sure to hit every single time. And that also gives you guys a chance to explore the map as well. Maybe morph that run around to fit your playstyle a little bit better than what mine does. But if this video helps you guys out, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps me out more than you can possibly imagine. I also want to invite you guys to join the Discord channel as well as hop into the live stream. Links for all of that will be down below. Even if you guys decide not to go that route, I'm sure I will see you all in the next video.